you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there we go. We are live. Here we go. So, hello, everybody. Oh, I think Sarah, did we just lose you or did we gain you back?
I'm still here. I'm here. I can hear you. Yeah.
Awesome. So, I just wanted to reach out today as we're doing another Surviving Quarantine by Spreading Live. If you're watching today, please make sure to leave the comments below on who's watching, and then also just let us know what you want us to talk about more specifically, because today we will be talking about finding your routine. And I'm so excited because this is one of my best friends in the world. It is, and also as a coach, Coach Sara. So welcome, Coach Sara. Tell us about yourself.
Hello. Hey, well, I have been blessed to have this woman in my life for a very long time now. We met in college, and I think she just continues to be a blessing for me on the regular. But I am very passionate about fitness and nutrition. I'm a personal trainer. Do I still have you? You disappeared. Are you still there? Emmy. I guess I'll just keep going. I don't know. Are we still good?
Is it the third week of quarantine or not?
Hey, at this point, I just take things as we go, just pick them up in stride. It is what it is at this point, right?
Yes, amen.
There, did you disappear or did I disappear?
I think I disappeared in that one. This is why you're my best friend and I love you.
But anyways, that's a perfect example of how things have been. It's just things have been ever changing every single week, and just finding that new norm, which I think is really what this whole quarantine is all about, like being safe, being healthy, staying sanitized, and just trying to find the new norm, the new regular, and in my mind, trying to stay healthy.
I agree. Is that I say sanitize and sanity are the two things that are like really resonating right now. But also with this, finding a routine. So let's get on to that one. About you are very good with staying on your routine and helping people stay on a routine. So let's start off with, how can people, one, if they've never had a routine, like especially exercise regimen or eating, how can they get on a routine right now, and what are some advice that you can give to them?
So ironically enough, I was speaking with my mom about this earlier today, and she's kind of just starting out. She struggles with chronic pain, and one thing that I spoke with her about was just finding something simple that you can do every single day. And even if it's 3 times a week to start. So for her, I was like, just start walking. Even if it's just a half a mile, try to be consistent with that thing. So whatever your movement is, if movement is something that you want to work on, if it's nutrition that you want to work on, if it's just calming down, taking a second or 5 minutes to meditate or stretch in the mornings, have a quiet cup of coffee, whatever it is that you find happiness in or that you need to improve on, just start out small and just find a time where you can do that consistently every other day, every other day, whatever it needs to be for you. Because like everybody's different. You don't know where you're starting. So.
And I love that too. And part of that routine is that it's what we talk about is there's sleep, food, mood, and movement. There's also our environment too, but the things that we can control and working on one, because talk about how this time, in my opinion, never is a good time for people. Like whenever New Year's, you hear them that they want to eat healthy, then they want to exercise, they want to like do all these goals at one time. So more than ever, I think right now is not a good time to do it. Right. So talk about the importance of just doing one thing right now.
So I love that question, because this is something that I would practice even with my clients on a normal, regular schedule, whatever, because if you can pick one goal, whether it's if you need to drink more water, simple one. A lot of people around us just don't simply get enough water. If that is the one thing that you need to improve on, let that be your goal for the week. I'm going to improve on water. Focus on that thing, master it. If it takes you 1 week, if it takes you 3 weeks, it doesn't matter. Master it to where it becomes a habit. You can create a lifestyle change, then move on to something else. So pick that next thing. Okay, I want to try to get 30 more minutes of sleep, and then master that and just find a way to make it your normal, your routine, create that habit change, and then pick something else and go from there. Because it's so much easier to do one small thing at a time than it is to like, oh, I'm going to eliminate gluten and I'm going to run 8 miles a day. Like, it's just, that's not realistic. You can't maintain that. So just something simple and easy and something that you want to do as opposed to have to do.
Yeah. And I think that's too is the language, because what we talk about is how our thoughts leads to our actions, which multiple actions lead to behaviors.
Yeah.
And so in the thinking process, somebody said the other day, it's like, I'm not stuck inside, I'm safe inside. So that was a good mindset change for me, because I know for me, I'm like, well, like they're kind of closing in. So it's something that people can do to have that mindset shift towards it's simple and it's one thing, and working on the brain in this aspect of day at a time.
Yeah. And that's kind of one thing when I was talking with my mom to kind of help motivate her was make it be something that you want to do. So if, say, for example, if you're the type of person that has to have that cup of coffee in the morning, or you have an afternoon show that you like to watch, try to get in that new thing, that new change that you're trying to do. You have to do it before you can have or do whatever it is that you wanted to do that afternoon. So it's almost like a reward system. And you have to be careful with the reward system because it can almost be a negative in a way. But if it's a positive reward in the respect that it's still benefiting you, like something that you enjoy, like it can be something simple, like if you like to put a little pink flavoring in your drink, have that in the afternoon, drink water all the other days, and then put that little flavoring in your drink. Your little like, I did it,
Yep. And I love that too, because it helps people find ways to also, well, what you said, reward yourself. And I think too is we say Fridays, we really want people to like tell themselves how, like, look back and reflect on having the good.
Yeah.
So with finding the Fridays or finding your daily yays, I think right now is a big point in defining your daily yays to make sure that we stay in a positive mindset that sometimes can be, I don't know, it's different right now. We talked earlier how you're my best friend, so you know this too, that I was having like, today was not a good day. The dog dug up the garden, then it ate all of our eggs, and then the house wasn't clean. It was just thing after thing after thing. And it was like, I just wanted one win for the day. And it's that importance of finding it. It's not this thing where we got to be overly positive, but just finding that small win.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit on the importance, even with making the routine, if it's not going perfect, if it's like we talk about progression. So what's some things that people can do to make sure that they can stay consistent in their routine?
So one thing I want to speak on, you hit on something I want to say is like, if you can find throughout all this, like I've had a lot of like perspective, I guess you can say. So for whatever reason, in the middle of all the crazy right now, there's been something almost every day that's like caught my attention to be like, okay, this is a silver lining. Like I've been able to slow down enough to be like, that is beautiful. Like I've seen cardinals almost every single morning that I'm outside training, which is a symbol in my family of like a past loved one. So it's like my people are with me, like this is cool. Like it's beautiful outside right now. Is it like that in Georgia too? Is it for y'all?
Yeah.
Like the weather has been amazing. So it makes you want to get out and move, which is funny because like you see like all like the Joe Burritos and like the Susie Q's outside, like that aren't normally outside walking and stuff that are out there, getting exercise. It's amazing to see, even though we're supposed to be inside. But, and then the other thing, it's like, everything I feel like has been so timely. Like you've been very timely in my life these last few weeks. Just the way like the world is kind of moving. I don't know, just there's been a lot of silver lining with a lot of different things in my life throughout this time. But what was your question originally?
But what you're talking about is finding the gratitude in it as well, and finding, like you said, silver lining. I love. But then also on that is basically what you said. How can you find the silver lining in your workout routine? Like when they feel like the rough, and because workout routines can be very difficult to other people. It can be like their own little storm, like we are preferably going through right now.
So if y'all are anything like Emily and I, like changing it up is huge for me. So if I'm good to be on like the same routine for about 3 weeks, and then after that, it's like, all right, give me something new. Let's spice this up a little bit. So I think that is huge. And right now we have the time to do that. So like now you can get out, go for a bike ride one day, play with your kids, like hopscotch the next day. Like you have time to get creative and change it up. And I would definitely say that is the biggest component to stay interested. Like it's just like anything else. Like you don't want to do the same thing every single day. That's where you lose that motivation, where you lose the consistency. So like something that keeps it spicy, like get into a new, like there's people putting up fitness stuff and like new classes, like everything is online right now. So hop on a new class, try it out. If you don't like it, okay, on to the next. Like just keep it fun, really.
Exactly. And I love that aspect of it. There's two things I can think of is actually Ashley that's on here. She suggested, and I made a little graphic that we're going to be doing, and it's called the mailbox challenge, or for me, it's the tree challenge because I live not in a subdivision, but it's like every mailbox you have to do a new thing. So like you run to it, and then you do like jumping jacks, then you do like mountain climbers. They're fun little things that you can do.
Yeah.
And so
the spin the bottle I told Emily about something that one of my fellow trainers did, and they created a spin the bottle game, which everybody knows of, but everything was like a different exercise or a dance move or something that you could do, which with kids especially would be really, really fun.
And so I add that to it as well. But finding ways that we can help people in this time to be able to stay healthy, stay wise is what we say in that. And a part of that wise is to be well in it. And so with that, what are some, they're like, I can't go to the gym. Gym's out. Okay, so I can walk, which is something that I recommend in the first place is walking as much as you can. We could get nerdy on the science of it, but long story short is you can work out right now and your metabolism is going to go up. But if you walk throughout the day, you're going to have those bumps moreover. So that's something that if you can find ways to add more exercise, and movement is one of them. But what are some good exercises people can do if they don't have weights or if they don't have some things? What are some things that they can do?
One thing I love about that is that we have to move our bodies every day. We're stuck in this. This is what we got. So if you can move your body and your body weight in every plane, that is very beneficial and very healthy. And there are some very challenging exercises that you can do with just your body weight. And so simple things like push-ups, pull-ups are probably the two most functional things. And you can go out to a tree and find a pull-up. You can do push-ups obviously on the ground, dips, lunges, squats, and then any form and fashion of those movements really that's the meat and potatoes of any exercise regimen that there is. Like you don't have to overcomplicate it, but if you can master those moves, you're in pretty good shape.
And that's so true. And it's all they are is they just have unique, different names to them. So, but they're all, they are all. And so, and the also thing is talking about variations and how through a beginner comparative to somebody that's an expert at doing exercise, where should they start? What should they do if this may be something new to people? Because like we talked about, we are seeing a lot of people that we haven't seen out per se doing exercise before.
Right. So the main thing, if you're just starting out, is just really listen to your body. There's no reason to jump into it all one day and just absolutely kill yourself that first day out there. Like set a goal for yourself and then maybe take 50-75% of that goal. And then that's probably where you need to be working. So if you're wanting to be able to, we'll say walk 2 miles, don't go out the first day and do that. You know, maybe do a half a mile the first week, 2 to 3 times. See how your body feels. Do it one day. See how your body feels. Make sure you're stretching, drinking enough water, and doing other body weight moves, taking your body through that full range of motion. Mobility is huge. I would start with more of a mobility and kind of like a stretching series, and then go out and work, and then probably come back and hit on that mobility stretch series again before you jump into a big goal or try to achieve that goal in the long run.
Yeah, and let's talk about real quick the importance of warming up. We are both, I don't know if anybody knows it, actually, Sarah, her nickname was Stud for a reason, because she's an absolutely amazing athlete, but she's also a D1 a volleyball player. And so in athletics, but also in exercise, warming up is so important. So talk about that for a second, on especially in our routines that we have, why we need to warm up first.
Okay, this is huge and something that gets highly neglected. Like, I see it in my clients, I see it at the gym all the time, and something that unfortunately I thought I was never going to have any issues with it at all. Being a young athlete, you're like, I got this, whatever, let's just play. But no, as you get older, that changes. And if you don't loosen up your body, loosen up your muscles, take your body through that full range of motion, allow your hips to open up if you're doing lower body work, especially heavy lifting, it's crucial. Like, the injury risk goes up tenfold whenever you are not warm, loose. And then same on the post side of that it helps with recovery. So getting that blood flowing, even if you are sore, you still want to stretch, you still want to pump blood through those muscles, because that's where that recovery comes into play.
Yeah, and I like to explain it, like, if anybody has ever got like some of the thicker rubber bands, and like you have to stretch them out for them to work good. Because if you just go at it, you can pop them, or they're not going to have the elasticity that needs. That's the same thing with your muscles. You got to think that they're connecting bone to bone. They're connecting things so that they can have that movement. So if they're going to be tight, you can get injury a whole lot quicker. So for the routine, making sure they're warm up.
Yeah, and one thing, dynamic warm up is, as opposed to dynamic stretching as opposed to static stretching, meaning like stretching through the range of motion and movement, as opposed to stretching and holding. So to go off of your rubber band thing, as you know this, but to go off of the rubber band example, whenever you stretch that out in a static hold, you're loosening and lengthening that muscle, where if you're about to go work out or you're about to go play in a sport, you still want that muscle to be able to respond and contract appropriately. So like just stretching, like, so something, it's so hard to do this sitting down and not like use my legs to demonstrate, like soldier marches or windmills with your legs, like stuff like that, where you're still stretching those muscles, but you're not holding that static stretch, is another way. And then you want a static stretch at the end of your workout as opposed to before.
Exactly. And I think that's big. What you're saying too is on the stretching aspect is especially for athletes too, or anybody that's lifting weights on top of that, because it kills me to see sports. And so I'm going to go on a little tangent for a second, but sports and athletics, whenever seeing athletes just go and they're stretching and they're doing the static stretching, so they're holding it. You're literally hurting your power that you want to.
Yes.
And so you will be less effective.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it's so crazy because like after, obviously, like whenever I was an athlete, still an athlete, but whenever I used to play, I like, you just take what your strength coach says and you run with it, like no questions asked. Yes, ma'am. All right, let's go. But now like having a little bit of knowledge to back all that up, it's like, why was I not introduced to foam rolling until I was an adult? Like, that's such a valuable tool. Why were we not doing that after every practice? I mean, they were asking about icing, which I agree with, but the stretching and rolling out, like that should have been every single day, which we completely neglected that.
Yeah. And I agree. So those are some things that I think are unique perspectives that we've learned after the fact, after doing college athletics and seeing some of the things that through our education and learning, but then also our experience with it and figuring that one out. But
Yeah.
so to go back real quick on routines, because I know we're right at the 20 minutes. So I want to say if anybody has any questions, please put them up. Any specific questions on, hey, I have a bad back. And that's usually what I hear a lot is I have a bad back or I have bad knees and I can't do things. So how can we help people understand that? You can. And if you don't move it, you're going to lose it. So,
And like that question is perfect for what we just talked about, the whole stretching, rolling out component, because if low back is the issue, it's more than likely coming from your posterior chain, meaning the glutes,
mhm.
the hamstrings, the calves, and then getting into that low, like into that plantar fasciitis and all that kind of stuff. So rolling out that whole chain, stretching, movement, I would say move, stretch, roll, like, and just find that routine. So like if I'll just use the walking again. If you're walking, do a little bit of active dynamic warm up before you go, a few little body weight squats, nothing to fatigue you too bad, but just let your body start waking up, keep going. And then go for your walk, come back, do a little bit more of that dynamic, do the static stretching and foam roll. I
Mhm.
highly suggest the foam roll.
Yeah. And explain that real quick for people that don't know what that is.
So it is fascia release. So what it's doing, the best analogy I've ever heard of this is taking an orange, and whenever you peel that orange back, there's all that little those fibers that are in there, the stringy stuff. So that is connective tissue. So now the muscle is the actual fruit, the part that you want to eat. So if you see whenever you peel off the orange peel and there's all that connective tissue, it's stringy and tight and it's inhibiting that the orange to come through. So in places it's kind of like pushing through. So basically when you foam roll, you're breaking up all that fascia and all that's in between and surrounding the muscle to allow the muscle to loosen up and breathe and eliminate all that tightness. It helps with blood flow, all of that. So you're basically just breaking up the tight fascia that's in there.
Awesome. Thank you for that as well. So, any questions from anybody on routines? What's something that they can do? And I guess for us, I just a quick routine that you would recommend to somebody that's starting out. Just maybe 4 or 5 exercises if somebody's watching this start tomorrow.
I would say I'm going to go with Emily on the walking. I think if you're really just getting into it, just start carrying around your body outside of what you do on a day-to-day basis. If you can start loosening up your hips, so where you could perform a squat would be another good one. Push-ups are always easy. You can always start on the counter, on the wall, if you don't have the strength to go down to the floor or even the mobility to get to the floor. And then
Mhm.
you can progress up to your knees and then to a full push-up. And planks. Planks are great for core strength. And so that way you're hitting upper body, lower body, and then a little bit of core strength and then walking. So
Yeah.
those 4 movements I think would be good for a very, very raw starter.
And then also, I want to talk real quickly. I know that we're past the time that we like, but I do want to talk about this real quick. Ones that they shouldn't be doing, like burpees, have a high risk for especially beginners.
Mm-hmm.
What are some exercises that people, I don't want to say that they should not, well, yeah, I do. I want to say that they should avoid starting out.
Anything starting out, like I'm talking straight from the couch to trying to work out, just avoid any kind of agility, jumping, impact movements. Like you don't want to get up and try to go for a run. Your body's not ready for that. So you don't want to jump around. You don't want to do a burpee. So stuff like that where you're going to have impact on your body, impact on your joints. You're going to feel worse than you did when you started because your body just hasn't adapted to that. You want to slowly progress into that. And I'm talking like even if you're only going 3/4 of the way down on your squat, or you're just sitting from a chair and standing up. Like I would almost even start there because then you can use, your hands to help you get up or whatnot. But definitely if you're just starting out, take it easy, go slow. Even if it's just like you setting a clock for 10 minutes and just like, just going to move around here a little bit, like that is better than going out and trying to overdo it because taking the chance of getting hurt that way.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something too. You just did the movement. Dance parties are something that's fun for us that we do that you can do with your kids if you want to get started out. But then also, well, we actually call it the weekend warrior injury, and it's usually Achilles heel where it ruptures. And that is because a lot of people, they go out and they haven't played basketball in forever, and then they go playing basketball, and then you'll hear full Achilles ruptures happening. So that is also due for people. That's I just want to put a little importance on the jumping, making sure that you have to be warm to jump because you're literally lifting whatever your body weight is off the air. So it's or in the air. So it is needs additional force to it.
And just think about it too, like if you have had an additional 20 pounds of weight on your body for the last 20 years, it's not going to come off in 3 days. So just be patient, let your body adapt and take that time to let that weight come off before you try to do those moves that you could do 20 years ago before you had that 20 extra pounds of body weight on your body. So just don't get impatient with it. It's a process, and that's why it's a lifestyle instead of just a diet or a fad or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't get there in a day. So it's not going to take a day to get back. So that's the thing. It's about being progression, not perfection. So Sara, I want to thank you so much. And I'm going to so don't forget that we have the Workzbe Give Back to You. This is for y'all. This is a give back from our end. If you want to talk with Sara, if you want to have one-on-one coaching with her, and she can help you with a custom routine that works for you. And if you want to directly just go to her too, you can go to www.workzbe.com/Coach Sara. So I'm so excited that I got to talk to you today. I get to talk to you every day, but I'm excited for the world to see you today.
I love little M.
And she said little M because you guys don't know this, that like Sara's almost 6 foot and I'm 4'10", so we call each other Mud and Jeff. So we are a total height difference.
We should have had like a poll to see who was taller because we look almost the same. Like, look at our shoulders.
I know, right?
I wonder.
Next time we'll have to do that for people that don't know. But we appreciate y'all. We hope you have an awesome and blessed day. Thank you again.